Waitress exposed incredible talent, $5,000 offer unlocks hidden strength in Russian. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, the sounds of clinking dishes and sizzling bacon created a comforting mosaic of chaos in the diner where Sofia worked. At 30, she was a dedicated waitress, pouring coffee and serving up warm meals while juggling the weight of single motherhood. Her son, Alex, had been her anchor since her husband's abrupt departure left her adrift, and every dollar she earned went toward keeping their little home bright and full of hope. The diner was a beloved hub for many, a place where friendships were forged over breakfast plates and good coffee. But as customer numbers dwindled, the warmth was fading, and Sofia felt the looming threat of financial ruin. She had ambitions, a life where Alex's dreams could flourish, but those dreams felt as distant as the far-off cities she served food to tourists. Yet, even in the relentless grind, she clung to her hope like a drowning person to a lifeboat. One busy afternoon, while balancing a tray full of sandwiches, Sofia caught snatches of conversation from a nearby table. An elderly man, his voice barely audible, reminisced about days gone by, speaking softly about the music that shaped his youth. Something in his tone stirred a longing deep inside her, and with practiced ease, she switched to Russian, her native tongue. Their exchange was tender and fragile, a moment of connection untouched by the din of the diner. Unbeknownst to Sofia, at a nearby table sat Jack, a well-known talent scout who had wandered into the diner seeking a bite to eat. Captured by her warm voice and infectious enthusiasm, he leaned in, rapt. As their conversation wove through nostalgia and laughter, he couldn't help but envision the woman behind the counter, once a dreamer, now an unpolished gem waiting to shine. After the meal, Jack approached Sofia, excitement brimming in his eyes. "I believe you have a gift, one that deserves to be shared. Would you consider performing at the upcoming arts festival? There's a $5,000 reward." His words hung in the air, heavy with possibility. But in her heart, a storm brewed. Could she truly embrace this chance? The flicker of ambition sparked deep within her, challenging her self-doubt. As murmurs of skepticism rippled through the diner, Sofia faced resistance from friends and co-workers, voices of doubt echoing her own fears. They loved her, yet the thought of her chasing stardom felt irrational. What if she lost herself in the rush? It was Alex's innocent fear that cut the deepest. "Mom, what if you're not there anymore?" he asked, wide-eyed and trembling with worry. Sofia's heart ached. How could she justify her dreams when it seemed they only threatened to pull her away from him? Under the communal embrace of the diner, her co-workers rallied, reminding her of the bonds they shared. The elderly man, her newfound ally, encouraged her, whispering that life was too short to bury her talent. But the closer the festival approached, the heavier her doubts became. What if she flopped? What if she failed Alex? As the day finally arrived, Sofia stood backstage, the hum of the crowd a distant roar. Heart pounding, she felt the weight of countless eyes upon her. But then she spotted Alex, his face lit with pride, his belief in her unwavering. Taking a deep breath, she stepped toward the light, ready to unleash the melody and passion bottled inside her. Could this be the moment that reshaped not just her fate, but Alex's future as well? The spotlight was blinding, but it was the warmth of Alex's smile that anchored Sofia. The audience was a blur, a sea of hopes and hearts waiting for something magical. With every step forward, her pulse quickened, merging with the rhythm of an unspoken promise. As she took her position behind the microphone, she felt time stretch, the moment teetering on the edge of potential. Memories of late-night practices in her living room, Alex snuggled on the couch listening, flashed before her eyes. Could she transform her dreams into reality? With a deep breath, she began. The first notes escaped her lips, a mix of familiarity and raw emotion. Singing in Russian brought it all back, the songs of her childhood, the echoes of laughter, and the comfort of her heritage. Each word felt alive, a testament to her journey. She poured everything into that moment, letting herself lose in the melody. The crowd fell silent, captivated by her voice. Her fears began to fade, leaving just the music and the connection it forged. When she glanced out into the audience again, she noticed people swaying, some with tears in their eyes. There was an elderly woman who raised her hands, an unspoken acknowledgement of shared memories. She felt the energy lift, carry her, and for a moment, she was not just a waitress anymore. She was an artist, a conduit of emotions, and a voice for her own journey. And then there was a rippling applause, a wave of encouragement that crashed into her heart. Sofia's throat tightened with gratitude and disbelief. Did they see her? Did they finally recognize her talent? She let out a note that soared, and as she finished the song, the echoes reverberated within her soul. A thunderous ovation erupted, drowning out her lingering insecurities. Between the applause, she heard Alex cheering, his joy bouncing back to her, filling the spaces around them. In that moment, it mattered little whether this would lead to something greater or if she would ever see that $5,000. All she wanted was to hold on to this moment, to harness the strength she had uncovered. But even in her triumph, doubt crept back. What did it mean for the future? As the crowd settled, Jack emerged from the throng, his face alight with awe. You were incredible, Sofia. Just incredible. People need to hear more of you. His enthusiasm wrapped around her like a warm blanket. But with it came the weight of what she was stepping into. Her heart raced. What if this was just a flash in the pan? Could she sustain this newfound path? The questions spilled into her mind faster than she could articulate them. Alex was still beaming, but she didn't want to disappoint him with what felt like an uncertain path stretching ahead. What now? She asked Jack, anxiousness creeping into her voice. He leaned closer, his eyes sparkling with possibilities. Now. You let the world hear you. Auditions, recordings, let us make a plan. Her stomach fluttered, a mix of excitement and anxiety. In this whirlwind of newfound opportunity, would she be able to balance her music and motherhood? Could she juggle both dreams without losing sight of what mattered most? As she left the stage, she looked at Alex, the light of her life. It was all for him. But the future loomed, unpredictable and vast. And just as she thought she could breathe, the realization hit hard, the real journey was just beginning. What if she could finally become someone he could look up to, not just as a mom, but as a woman chasing her passions? Turning to Jack, she felt the pulse of possibility, but was she truly ready to set sail into the unknown? Sofia stepped off the stage, adrenaline still coursing through her veins as echoes of applause lingered in the air. She could hardly believe how alive she felt, as if each note she sung had unraveled a part of her she didn't even know was locked away. As she surveyed the room, the afterglow of the performance wrapped around her like a warm embrace. Yet, beneath that warmth lay an unsettling chill of uncertainty. Jack's words hung heavy in her mind, a promise and a challenge intertwined. Let the world hear you. What did that even mean? Was she ready for the kind of attention that a voice like hers might command? The thought of stepping into the limelight frightened her more than she cared to admit. Hey! Alex's voice broke her reverie. There he stood, with that bright smile capable of melting even the thickest doubts. You were amazing tonight. I can't believe how beautiful your voice is. Everyone was spellbound, Sophie. She couldn't help but smile back at him, though her heart still thudded with residual worry. I felt it, but what if it was just a one-time thing? What if I can't do it again? Don't think like that. This is your moment. You have to chase it. If you don't, you might regret it later, Alex encouraged, genuine concern mingling with excitement in his voice. But what about you? What about us? She blurted, anxiety spilling out like a shaken soda can. I want to chase my dreams, but I can't lose sight of being a mom. You need me here, don't you? Alex stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. Sofia, you are already a phenomenal mom. This is just another dream of yours. You can do both. I believe in you. His words struck deep, igniting a flicker of hope within her. What if he was right? Could she really chase her dreams and still be the support her child needed? It felt like a tightrope walk, where every step could send her tumbling down. "Okay," she said, her voice shaky but determined. "Let us see where this takes us. But I need you every step of the way, Alex." He nodded, squeezing her hand. "Always, Sophie. But promise me you'll keep fighting for this." Feeling emboldened, they made their way through the crowd, the weight of the moment suddenly lifting. Jack joined them, radiating energy. "So, I was thinking we should start promoting you right away. Social media, local gigs, everything. The world needs your voice." Sophia's heart raced at the mention of publicity. The idea was exhilarating and terrifying all at once. "I don't know if I'm ready for all that. What if I help you with social media?" Alex proposed, eyes full of mischief. "I could learn a thing or two, and keep it fun. We could make videos together, little snippets of you singing." She laughed nervously. The thought of being filmed was jarring, but the joy in Alex's enthusiasm was contagious. "Okay. Let us do it together." As they strategized, a new excitement began to bloom inside her. She pictured singing in small cafes, then bigger venues, maybe even recording an album. But those visions were clouded by persistent self-doubt. Was it prudent to let herself dream this big? The evening air was rich with possibilities as they left the venue, yet a shadow loomed over their excitement, the uncertainty of how to navigate this new life. Ahead lay auditions, recordings, the specter of failure dancing in the back of her mind. But in all that ambiguity, one truth rang clear: she wanted to try. More than anything, she wanted to embrace this challenge, despite every reason not to. As they walked, Sophia glanced at Alex, resolute. "What if I got the offer? What happens then?" He shrugged, mischief twinkling in his eyes. "We cross that bridge when we get there. But for now there's just one bridge to cross, pretending you can't shine that bright." With her heart pulsing with hope and hesitation, Sophia felt the first twinge of what could indeed become a glorious adventure. If only she could silence the inner voice whispering doubts amid the promise of new beginnings. What if she did find success, and the world became a stage for her to express everything she had kept hidden? Or what if she fell, shattering not just her dreams but leaving Alex behind? The stakes were more than high, they felt limitless. What would it take for her to stand tall in the light instead of shying away? Sophia awoke the next morning with the sun spilling through her window, bathing everything in golden light. It felt like a new day, one filled with potential and the echo of applause still ringing in her ears. The anxiety from last night lingered, but it was laced with a new thrill. She rolled out of bed, her mind racing with the possibilities of a life where she embraced her passion and balanced her commitments as a mother. She glanced around her small apartment, cluttered yet cozy. Crayons scattered across the coffee table and toys peeking out from under the couch served as gentle reminders of the little boy who needed her. Could she really put him first while chasing this dream? Clutching the edge of the table, she took a deep breath. It was time to figure this out. After a quick breakfast of toast and scrambled eggs, she settled into her favorite worn-out chair with a steaming cup of coffee. Before she could lose her momentum, she opened her laptop and began browsing social media for inspiration. She stumbled upon videos of singers, some famous, others still budding. The difference between them was often just a chance. What if this was her chance? Her phone buzzed, interrupting her thoughts. It was Alex, sending her a simple text: "Let us meet up today. I have an idea." Excitement bubbled inside her. Meeting up with him felt like entering a brainstorming session where even the craziest dreams were celebrated. Later that day, they met at their favorite local cafe. As she entered, the rich scent of coffee greeted her like an old friend. Alex waved excitedly from a corner booth, a laptop open and papers spread across the table. "Sophia. You're going to love this." His enthusiasm was infectious. As she sat down, he pushed a piece of paper toward her. "I've been researching local venues. We can start small. I found a few cafes that have open mic nights. You've got to get out there. Her heart raced at the mention of performing again. What if I mess up? Then you mess up. Everyone does. But you'll also learn and grow. Besides, he squeezed her hand, it's not just about the singing. It's about putting yourself out there, growing your presence. You'll see one gig leads to the next. She considered his words. Every part of her wanted to retreat, to hide from the possibility of failure. But she also longed to embrace it, to see where it would take her. Okay. Let us do it. We'll start with a few open mics. Alex's face lit up. Yes. And we can film it. Start putting it online. You'll create a following before you know it. Trust me, Sofia. The thought of being filmed made her stomach churn, but there was an undeniable thrill in sharing her journey. All right. But it needs to feel organic. I don't want it to be all polished. Exactly, he grinned, real and raw. That's what connects with people. As they brainstormed song choices and marketing techniques, something shifted within her. The energy flowed between them, and she felt a growing sense of purpose. They laid out a plan to film a few snippets over the next few weeks, capturing her raw talent as she sang her heart out in their kitchen or the little park near her apartment. With Alex by her side, she felt emboldened. She left the cafe buzzing with excitement, her phone lighting up with messages from friends who had seen her performance the previous night. A new world was opening before her. But as she headed home, doubts crept back in, gnawing at her resolve. What if she failed? What if this path left her vulnerable in ways she wasn't prepared for? Determined not to let fear dictate her choices, she reminded herself that every risk came with the possibility of growth. You can do this, she whispered as she climbed the stairs to her apartment. But just as she opened the door, her phone buzzed with an alert that had her heart racing again. Breaking news, local waitress reveals incredible talent at recent performance. Her breath quickened as she read on. This story wasn't just about her singing, it was spreading far and wide, hinting at something bigger. What would this newfound attention bring? The world was watching, and the question loomed, could she rise to the occasion, or would she fade under pressure? Sofia dropped her bag near the door, staring at her phone like it had burned her. The headline blinked menacingly, and her heart palpitated. $5,000. It was a lot of money, a life-changing amount. But what did it mean? Who was behind it? She sank into the couch, her mind racing in circles. Could this be a scam? It was the kind of thing she had read about too good to be true. Yet the warmth of her performance still wrapped around her, the joy, the thrill of that moment on stage. What if this was the breakthrough she needed? The phone buzzed again with more message alerts, her friends reacting wildly to the news. Some had already shared the article, commenting on its implications. Excitement mixed with panic settled in her stomach like a heavy stone. As a single mother, she felt the tug of responsibility. This wasn't just about her anymore, it was about Jacob. Could she risk everything for a fleeting dream? With shaking hands, she opened the article. It detailed her performance, praised her voice, and hinted at potential meetings with record labels. She read through it twice, almost in disbelief. This was surreal. A part of her wanted to revel in the accolades while another part felt it crushing down her spirit. A spotlight was illuminating her life, but was she ready to step into it? In her mind's eye, she pictured Jacob, his bright smile and curious nature, the way he clutched her leg when she sang him lullabies. What kind of mother would she be if she chased fame at the cost of stability? The image of him lying awake at night, wondering where his mom was, gnawed at her heart. She stood and paced the living room, the soles of her feet pressing against the cool floor. This wasn't just about her love for singing anymore, it was about safety, about what was best for Jacob. The burden of her choices loomed, heavy as the ceiling above her. As she wrestled with her thoughts, her phone buzzed again, this time an unknown number. Tentatively, she opened the message. Hi Sophia. This is Marcus from the article. We would love to discuss the offer with you. Is there a good time for a call? The heart-thumping excitement of it was juxtaposed with the ache of uncertainty. She could feel the walls closing in, the excitement threatening to drown her in waves of doubt. Was she truly capable of handling this? Taking a deep breath, she sat down on the couch again, fingers hovering over her phone. She could ignore it, go back to her life as a waitress, a mother, keep it safe. But if she did that, would she always wonder what if? No, she whispered firmly, shaking her head. I have to know. It was her moment to step out of the shadows. Grabbing her phone, she began typing a response to Marcus, her heart racing with each word. But just as she hit send, a loud laugh echoed outside. Jacob was playing with other kids in the courtyard, a scene that warmed her but also reminded her of what was at stake. Would this newfound opportunity strip things away from them or offer something remarkable? Was it a leap into the unknown or simply wishful thinking? As the realities of her choices crashed together, one thought resonated above the chaos: she had to face the music, for better or worse. But in the stillness of that moment, she felt the weight of possibility pressing down. What if this was just the beginning? What if she really could turn her dreams into reality? The question hung in the air, laced with both hope and trepidation. And as she leaned back, heart still racing, she wondered what she would say when they called. Would her voice crack, or would she speak with the strength she had discovered within herself? The unknown wrapped around her like a tight embrace, leaving her breathless but eager. With anxious anticipation, Sophia waited for the phone to ring, knowing that her life was about to shift in ways she could hardly imagine. Would she be brave enough to answer? The phone rang, shattering the stillness that had settled around her like a thick fog. Sophia jolted, her heart thrumming like a wild drum. She glanced at the screen. Marcus. The name felt heavy with possibilities, and she hesitated a moment before swiping to answer. Hello. Her voice trembled, barely above a whisper. Hi, Sophia. It's Marcus. Thanks for getting back to me. His voice was warm and reassuring, cutting through her anxiety. I wanted to talk to you about the article and the offer. Okay, she said, her palms clammy against the couch cushions. What's the next step? Well, the exposure from the article has garnered quite a bit of interest. A couple of record labels are interested in speaking with you, he explained, his excitement bubbling through the phone. They want to hear more about your music and your vision. Sophia struggled to process the words, the gravity of what they meant settling heavily on her shoulders. Her dreams felt so close, yet so far away. And the money? $5,000. She asked, voice shaking. Exactly. That's just the start, he continued, his tone upbeat. It's a way to secure your time as you explore these opportunities. But they want to see you perform again. Perform? Panic rose in her throat. The lights, the crowd, it felt both exhilarating and terrifying. What if she wasn't good enough? What if she messed it up in front of potential industry giants? Yes. A live audition, Marcus enthused. Nothing too formal, think of it as an open mic night, just for us to capture your sound. Her heart sank. An open mic night? The very thought sent a wave of nausea through her stomach. But I'm not ready for that. What if I get up there and choke? Sophia, you have something special. You do. The audience felt it, I felt it. This is your chance. His voice softened, coaxing her. I'll be right there with you. You won't be alone. She could almost see Jacob's innocent face smiling, urging her to chase this fleeting dream. Yet the self-doubt clawed at her insides. Could she sacrifice the stability of their life for one shot at something more? Wouldn't he understand? I'll think about it, she said, surprised at how small her voice sounded. Take your time, Marcus replied, the kindness in his tone undeniable. But don't wait too long. Opportunities like this are rare, and they can disappear just as quickly as they appear. As they ended the call, Sofia sank back into the couch, staring at the wall blankly. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. Was there a way to balance her responsibilities to Jacob and her own dreams? Could she find a way to weave the two together, to show Jacob the importance of dreaming big? Outside, the laughter of the children echoed in her ears, reminding her of the warmth of home. She pictured Jacob looking up at her, wide-eyed and full of unfiltered belief in her. But he was also at an impressionable age. What kind of example was she setting? With a sudden jolt of resolve, she stood up, a determination forming inside her. She had to give herself a chance, not just for her, but for Jacob too. As she walked to the window, a thought flashed through her mind: what if this was her moment to turn everything around? But what she didn't expect was an unexpected knock at the door. Who could it be at this hour? Heart pounding once again, she moved cautiously toward the sound, nervous anticipation rising within her. Could this door hold even more changes, or would it add to her uncertainty? With her hand hovering over the doorknob, she couldn't shake the feeling that her life was on the verge of another unexpected turn. Was she ready to discover who was waiting on the other side? Sofia took a breath, her hand trembling slightly as she finally turned the knob. The door swung open to reveal a tall figure, silhouetted against the dim light from the hallway. The familiar face of her friend Lila peered in, an eager smile on her lips, but her eyes were serious. "Sofia. I've been trying to reach you," she exclaimed, stepping over the threshold as if she had stepped into a whirlwind. "What are you doing here?" Sofia asked, surprised and yet oddly comforted by Lila's presence. "It's late. I know, but I had to talk to you. I just heard about Marcus's offer. You have to take it." Lila's enthusiasm hit Sofia like a wave, pushing her back against the wall of uncertainty she'd been leaning against. "Take it? Lila, you don't understand. What if I fail? What if I freeze up there? I'm not ready for an audition." Her voice shook, the weight of her fears spilling out. Lila simply shook her head, her brow furrowing. "You need to trust yourself. You were amazing at that last performance. The crowd loved you. You can't let fear hold you back. Think of Jacob. He's counting on you to chase your dreams." Sofia felt a surge of warmth at the mention of Jacob. His innocent faith in her seemed to echo in Lila's words. Could this really be a chance for them both? A chance to show him that dreams weren't just fairy tales, but something real worth fighting for. "But what if I mess it all up?" she murmured, her gaze drifting to the floor. "Failure is part of the journey," Lila replied, stepping closer. "But you won't fail. You've got this, Sofia. You just need to believe it." Sofia hesitated, grappling with her swirling emotions. Her mind raced as memories of performances danced in her head: her first stage at school, the cheers from her family, the feeling of freedom when she sang. Was it possible to recapture that spirit again? Lila's hand grasped Sofia's, pulling her back to the moment. "Let's make a deal. We'll practice together just like old times. You'll get comfortable again, and soon enough, you won't even feel nervous about it." Practice? The thought made her stomach flip. What if she still felt rusty? What if all the self-doubt came crashing back down? "Yes. I'll be your biggest fan and your hardest critic," Lila said with a wink. "We'll do this together, and I promise, you'll shine." As she looked into her friend's eyes, something sparkled deep within her. It was the flicker of hope, a pulse of potential. Maybe Lila was right. Maybe this was more than a chance to perform, it was a way to reclaim herself. "Okay," Sofia said slower, her heart racing with a mix of anticipation and fear. "Let's do it. I'll give it a shot." "Yes!" Lila shouted, her enthusiasm infectious. "We'll start right now. Sing for me just a little. Let's see that magic." As Sofia took a breath, she felt a rush of vulnerability mixed with excitement. She opened her mouth, the first notes slipping out awkwardly but soon coalescing into something more fluid, something real. The sound wrapped around her, and for the first time in forever, she dared to imagine herself back on that stage. Then, just as she was about to get lost in the melody, her phone buzzed again on the couch, pulling her momentarily back into reality. What if it's Marcus again? Lila asked, raising an eyebrow, eyes alight with curiosity. Those words hung between them, as heavy as they were hopeful. Sofia could feel her heart pounding with every tick of the clock. What if this was her moment to step into the spotlight, and what if the call held answers she never saw coming? With a deep breath, she nodded at Lila and picked up the phone. What would her heart reveal when she answered? Sofia stared at the glowing screen, her heart racing. The notification read, "New message from Marcus." All her thoughts rushed together, fear, anxiety, excitement mingling into a tide of emotions threatening to overwhelm her. She had been waiting for this moment, yet now that it had arrived, her hands were clammy and her breath shallow. "Open it," Lila urged, her voice cutting through Sofia's introspection like a knife. "What are you waiting for?" Taking a moment to gather herself, Sofia tapped the message. A video call request popped up. The blue icon felt like a doorway to her future, full of possibilities and, admittedly, a few nightmares. Her finger hovered above the screen, trembling. "Answer it," Lila said softly, squeezing Sofia's shoulder. "You've got this." The comfort of Lila's presence anchored her, allowing Sofia to find her voice. She hit the "accept" button and almost immediately, Marcus's face appeared, bright and animated. A wave of relief washed over her at the sight of that familiar smile. The fear of failure began to ebb, replaced by an overwhelming sense of comfort. "Hey, Sofia. I'm glad you picked up," Marcus said, his energy palpable even through the screen. "I was hoping to discuss the audition with you." What did you want to talk about?" she managed, her throat suddenly dry. "First off, I want to say how impressed I was with your last performance. You have a rare talent, and I think the world deserves to see that," he continued, his seriousness shifting to excitement. "You really think so?" she asked, disbelief lacing her words. "Absolutely. I have connections who can help you get exposure. But first, I need you to go all in. Are you ready for that?" His gaze pinned her, fierce and inviting, as if he was challenging her to rise to the occasion. "You mean an audition? Am I really ready?" Doubts clawed at her again, but Lila's earlier words echoed in her mind. Failure was part of the journey. "Yes," he urged. "I need you to trust yourself, Sofia. This is your chance. Let's set up some rehearsals, and we'll nail the audition together. I believe in you." Her mind raced. Could she trust him? Could she believe in herself? The thought sent her spiraling, but in the back of her heart, there was Jacob's smile, his innocent faith in her rekindling that flickering hope. I can try," she finally said, the weight of her words filling the room with a palpable energy. "I'll practice." "That's the spirit." Marcus cheered, his enthusiasm contagious. "What do you think about setting up a session tomorrow? I have a few ideas to help bring your best performance to life." Sofia found herself nodding, almost automatically. "Tomorrow sounds good." As they continued to chat, discussing her goals and dreams, everything began to flow. The music, the stage, the thrill of performing it felt like being pulled into a whirlpool of possibility. She could almost see the light at the end, shimmering with promise. But just as excitement started to bubble within her, the connection began to glitch. Marcus's voice became distorted, cutting in and out. "Wait, can you hear?" His message faltered abruptly before completely disconnecting, leaving Sofia and Lila staring at the empty screen in stunned silence. "What just happened?" Lila asked, her eyebrows knit together in confusion. Sofia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What if he doesn't call back? What if this is all over before it even started? The clouds of uncertainty drifted back in, threatening to eclipse her newfound joy. You've got to believe, Sofia. He'll reach out again. Just stay focused on that spark you felt while talking to him, Lila encouraged gently. With a trembling heart, Sofia couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning, or perhaps the beginning of a daunting roller coaster ride. But the lingering question remained, was she really ready for everything that lay ahead? And as the night wore on, Sofia rose to the challenge. She found herself seated at the piano, ready to drown her fears in melody. But another message buzzed on her phone, pulling her attention once again. Was it Marcus? Or something that might change everything? As she looked down, Sofia felt the stirring winds of fate surrounding her. What awaited on the other side of that screen? Sofia's heart skipped as she glanced at her phone, her breath hitching in her throat. The notification barely registered in her brain as she read the words flashing before her, new message from Jacob. Jacob? Lila leaned in, her curiosity piqued. What does he want? Now. Sofia's fingers hesitated on the screen. A whirlwind of emotions surged through her. Jacob, with his infectious laughter, was a bright spark in her often cloudy world. But this text stirred up memories she didn't want to confront just yet. She hesitated, not sure if she wanted to unlock that door. Open it, Sof. What harm could it do? Lila's patient nudging snapped her out of her spiraling thoughts. With a deep breath, Sofia swiped to reveal Jacob's message. Hey. Heard about the audition. You deserve it. I'm rooting for you. Let's catch up soon. A smile broke free on her face. It felt good to hear from him, to feel that sprinkle of support. Yet a shadow loomed, joy and melancholy intertwining. Things were different now. They had drifted apart, and his kindness reminded her of the world she missed. What did he say? Lila asked, a knowing smile on her lips. Sofia handed up, suppressing a grin. He's rooting for me. Wants to catch up. Then do it. Lila urged, her excitement roping Sofia back in. You should take the plunge. Lila, it's complicated, Sofia interrupted quietly. Jacob represented a piece of her past she had yet to mend. The loose ends made her feel raw. You're stronger now, Sofia. You're going for your dreams. Reconnecting with him might be a part of your journey, you know. Her words echoed in Sofia's mind, mingling with Marcus's encouragement. Could she embrace every part of her life, including Jacob, without letting it drown her? The moment hung thick with hesitation. She could feel the edge of something changing, and the spark of hope flickered again. Okay, she finally said, maybe I should reach out. Just a text. Lila's face lit up. There you go. Keep the vibes going. After drafting and deleting a few messages, she finally typed, hey. Thank you for the support. How about coffee tomorrow? As she hit send, there was a moment of dread. Would Jacob view her as just the waitress he knew, or as someone striving for something more? The uncertainty took her breath even deeper than before. Just as she was grappling with her worries, her phone vibrated again. This time, it was a response from Jacob. Absolutely. Can't wait to hear all about your audition. A rush of warmth filled Sofia. There was excitement, but beneath it lay a layer of vulnerability, a reminder of what they once shared and how fragile connections could be. But she had to trust herself and make peace with her journey. All of it mattered. See? It's happening, Lila whispered, pride spilling from her eyes. Sofia's mind raced as she stood at the crossroads of her life, her audition, her budding connection with Marcus, and now a reconnection with Jacob. Each path seemed filled with promise, yet also shadows of doubt. And deep down, nestled between hope and fear, the question persisted, would she embrace these changes, or were old wounds destined to unravel her? The night deepened, and Sofia sat at her piano. The keys felt alive under her fingers as she played, notes ringing like echoes of her heart's longing. But as she played, a sudden thought cut through her. what if those old connections could help her shape the future she desperately wanted? With each note, she felt a surge of determination. Just then, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Marcus. His excited text urging her for their rehearsal tomorrow just heightened the tension. But alongside it, there was Jacob's warm support lingering in her mind. Sofia's heart raced as choices danced around her. She had made significant strides, but her journey was just beginning. Would she find the strength to navigate this thrilling, unpredictable path? What awaited her in the morning? Sofia woke up the next day with a new sense of purpose coursing through her veins. The rays of sunlight poured into her small apartment, illuminating her dreams, old and new. The nervous energy from last night had transformed into determination. Today wasn't just an ordinary day, it was a stepping stone on her journey toward becoming the artist she always believed she could be. The phone buzzed as she jumped out of bed, and her heart raced with excitement as she checked the message. It was Marcus, reminding her of their rehearsal that afternoon. "Can't wait to hear more of your voice," echoed in her mind. She felt the weight of possibility pressing down alongside the thrill. Was she truly ready for what lay ahead? "Mom, are we going to see the park today?" Alex's voice pulled her back into the present, bright with youthful enthusiasm. His innocence made her heart swell, yet it weighed heavy with the realization of how precious their time together was. "Yes. After I finish up some things, we can go," Sofia replied, ruffling his hair affectionately, feeling renewed by his trusting gaze. She cherished his support but worried about balancing everything. "What if I practiced my music too?" Alex suggested, a hopeful grin lighting his face. Her heart warmed at the thought. "I'd love that. You can be my first audience for the audition songs." Together they could craft their dreams, with each note echoing the triumph of family bonds. The rest of the morning passed in a flurry of activity. Sofia made breakfast while preparing for her rehearsal and coaching Alex through his own melodies. Their laughter mingled with the comforting sounds of morning, turning the kitchen into a space of warmth and joy. After they had eaten, it was time for the park. Walking hand in hand, they reminisced about past adventures, their laughter floating into the gentle breeze. Sofia realized this was what she truly craved: a balance. If this journey was to lead her down the path of fulfillment, it had to include Alex in every step. At the park, while Alex played on the swings, Sofia leaned against a tree and opened her message app. She smiled at the new texts from Jacob, a back and forth of excitement about their coffee date. What seemed daunting before now felt like an opportunity to reconnect, to remind both of them of the dreams they once shared. Just then, her phone rang again. It was Marcus. "Sofia, are you free to rehearse a bit earlier? The acoustics at the studio are magical," he exclaimed, his passion spilling through the receiver. "I can be there in about an hour," she replied, excitement bubbling through her veins. "I've been practicing, and I feel ready." "Good. This is it, Sofia. I can't wait to hear what you've done." As she hung up, she felt the reality of it all crashing in. This was what she dreamed of: a chance to show the world her voice, to make something of herself. But what if everything crumbled beneath her? Would they still see the waitress or embrace the artist? A wave of doubt threatened to crash over her, but remembering Alex's encouraging words steered her back. With newfound resolve, she raced home. The rehearsal loomed ahead, a chance to solidify her passion and prove to herself that she could interweave her music with motherhood. It was time to embody the dream she had buried. The moment Sofia entered the studio, memories of her past performances flooded back, but they felt different now, stronger. Marcus greeted her with the same enthusiasm, and they proceeded to set up. "Let's start with the piece you performed at the festival," he suggested, his eyes alight with anticipation. As she took her place behind the mic, the world around her disappeared. She closed her eyes, recalling the faces of the audience who had embraced her voice, the warmth of Alex's smile, and the shared hopes of the park moments. It all blended into a beautiful wave that encouraged her to let go and simply be. When she began to sing, the notes flowed like water, rising and falling, powerful yet fragile. Each note soared through the room, practically radiating. The music unlocked something deep within her, and with each chorus, she could feel everything she longed for come to life. Marcus leaned back in awe, nodding along as she poured her heart out. The sound echoed all the doubts that had lingered, drowning them in an explosion of belief. This was her moment, not just to chase a dream but to share her journey, to turn her vulnerabilities into strength. As she finished, Marcus burst into applause, his face lit with joy. "That was incredible. You're not just a waitress, you're an artist." The words hit Sofia like a shower of sunlight breaking through storm clouds. She swelled with pride and exhilaration, the applause within her resonated with what she had always yearned to claim. She was ready for this journey, both as a mother and as a singer. "Really?" she asked, her heart still racing. "Absolutely. Now, let us talk about how to present this to record labels," he said, eyes gleaming. They dove into discussions about her sound, targeting audiences, and creative branding. Each word was a spark, an idea to ignite everything she could become. But even amidst the whirlwind of creativity ahead, her phone buzzed with another message: Jacob wanted to meet a bit earlier for coffee. It was a sign. It was time for her to embrace her past and future simultaneously, to weave them into a tapestry of dreams. She made a mental note to assure Jacob that the Sofia he had known was lost, she was simply evolving. The journey wouldn't just be hers, it would fold him into the legacy they could build. As evening approached, Sofia knew her moment of truth awaited her, not only in the audition room but also in that coffee shop with Jacob. She smiled, feeling the weight of hope lift her spirit high. This was just the beginning, and she refused to be silent anymore. As she walked home that evening, ready to embrace both her past and her future, the stars began to twinkle in the night sky. Together with Alex and Jacob, she would find the melody meant for her. Now was the time for transformation, the time to shine. And in the fresh air of possibility, she finally felt free. So much lay ahead, each moment poised like a note ready to be played. She locked eyes with the moon, feeling its strength, and whispered, "I'm ready." Now, if you want to be a part of this amazing journey and witness more transformations like Sofia's, you need to subscribe now to our channel. This is the moment to show your support and find inspiration in the upcoming stories we have lined up. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and keep us alive in your feed. Tell us how this story made you feel and what you think of Sofia's journey in the comments below. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and find their own strength. Your support is everything. Thank you.